It's the Riot Podcast. It's the Thursday, March 9th edition. Welcome to our show, our humble show.
Podcast.
Yes. Can we all take a moment and appreciate that Nikki is wearing a shirt that isn't black? I don't know.
I know.
If you're watching the podcast, it's obscured by her microphone, but not fully dressed in black today.
I think I found all my old RadioU shirts.
Yeah, that one's a throwback for sure.
It is.
Is that one even for sale anymore?
No, it's an old Stars
I
one.
know we have the vintage shirts from the fundraisers for sale if you ever go on the shop page at RadioU.com.
Nope.
Not that one, though.
It's an exclusive.
Maybe Nikki will sell it to you.
For double the price.
Yeah.
Like here, I'll sell it on one of the resale stores.
Yeah. All right. Tell us about what we already talked about.
So we talked
in the
about
future.
so we talked about if more money makes you happier.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yes, and the answers might surprise you. Let's move along.
You don't want to rehash it?
We talked about study why people are so afraid of clowns.
Yeah. Are you afraid of clowns?
I am not.
Not afraid of, not even a tiny bit?
Not even a little bit.
But don't you think it's not like we're afraid? Again, it's just like if you saw a clown, it's like it's weird.
Yeah, it feels weird. I agree.
It's true, and it's weird. I wouldn't even expect to see a clown.
Well,
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like if you saw a clown in public, you weren't at like a haunted house or something. You would be a little unsettled just because you'd be like, what is this clown doing?
Now, I know
here?
some still do, like, you can go to the hospital and you might see one, like, to make people happy. Or, like, you did theater and this is still your outlet, like that sort of thing. But otherwise, it is kind of odd if you're not at a little children's birthday party.
Yeah, it seems like it seems weird now to have a clown come to a child's birthday party.
Well, I think they would want, like, Superman or something.
Yeah.
Or
And so
Spider-Man.
for me,
Frozen.
Yeah, I feel like for me, like if I ever had a kid, if I ever had a child, I don't think my first pick for their birthday party would be a clown.
But
I
it's
just
not
don't
your
think.
pick, it's their pick.
Well, that's not how it works.
I can't wait to see that. You're like, Daddy said no.
And
Daddy said no clown. We couldn't afford a clown.
You would pick a clown. The clown's cheaper than Superman.
Yeah, exactly.
Less demand.
No, at that point, it's whatever.
I am the clown.
You're
Yeah,
dressing
that's
up
right.
as.
Yeah.
You think you would make a
you'll hear
good
about
clown?
the study.
I think I'd make a decent clown. I think I'd make a good character. I play one every day.
I think you. Yeah, I think we'd both make good clowns. I'm very. I can do. Obviously, I'm not in the right field for it, but I can do some physical comedy. I don't know how to do balloon animals though.
Well, you could
I
learn.
can juggle.
Yeah.
I could try murdering people as well.
You know,
so
between the two
that would
of
make me a
you,
good clown.
I feel like you guys could do a double clown feature, like where you're juggling and you're tripping on your big clown shoes, like physical comedy.
Yeah.
And you guys could go out and do parties. Or our RadioU
a
DJ
clown
service.
duo, 2 for 1.
Oh, look at that.
2 for 1.
You could charge some premium dollars there.
Yeah.
I like the way you think.
I'll set that
Very
up for
enterprising. Nikki's going to be the clown manager.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I drive the tiny car. I'm like, get in, guys.
Oh, can you imagine? Wait, a clown, an agent for clowns, and like they're making demands, like on the phone, like, listen, my client doesn't want to be a part of it unless there's gonna be the balloons provided.
I
And
can
there's
see it
gotta
all.
be. We're not gonna run out of balloons at this event. Okay, you need to provide a vat of the balloon animals.
And then I become like this major, well-known clown manager, and then they find my past clown comments. Like, I think it's stupid.
yeah, and then you realize all the clowns realize you're not on their side
I'm
after
not.
all.
I'm
You're just in
not.
it for yourself.
But I'll help you guys if you decide to.
right.
Anything
Are
else?
you guys finished?
yeah.
Are you two finished?
No.
We also talked about a man who was ordered to pay his wife for 25 years of work at home.
Now, we forgot to mention, we didn't see it till afterwards, but she also gets like $1,500 each month. And so like 1,000 counts for like her kids and 500 for her. So she gets
Yeah.
a monthly amount too.
Now, off the bat, when I saw that, I was like, okay, really? But then you think about it, and she went, 25 years or something without having a career. She was doing, her work was working, taking care of the family and whatever. And so try getting back into the workforce with that as your resume.
No.
It's not going to be easy. You're definitely not going to get as high a paying job as if you had been working all that time. So it makes sense.
Plus, this case, they said took over 2 years. And so I'm sure if you're in that area of Spain, you're known as this lady now. And then it'd probably be even harder to find a job because you're just been in the news.
The other thing that's wild to me is the kids. I'm trying to figure out the kids' ages.
They're probably older. I mean,
because the kid, yes, I'm saying. So how is she getting $1,000 for kids that are already graduated from high school?
probably back alimony.
Fair
Interesting,
enough.
because it said that the reason she filed for divorce was because he refused to pay for his daughter's tuition.
Oh, and it seems like, again, he has money. So,
Yeah.
nothing's worse than that. So.
I was just thinking about
Not having money, but just if he has money, he's not giving it to his kids.
Yeah, going back to kind of thinking about the clown agent.
Here we go.
I'm not going to do a clown
Here we
agent
go.
thing, but I'm on that same vein of trying to imagine the lawyer that has to make the argument for the guy to not pay.
Yeah.
And, sometimes I'll take a side of something and I feel like I could be a good lawyer because I'll just make up an argument for something where I'm clearly wrong.
Sure.
But at least sometimes it's convincing. But for this, I would what would you be your argument? Trying to argue against this lady.
Well,
just trying to get some money because she's been working from home all this time. Working at home.
I'll tell you what the argument is. Get a job.
Oh, no. You haven't been
No,
through
that'd be terrible. I
Yeah.
can't imagine. I mean, nowhere's hiring right now. It's a hard time to get a job. I mean, there are people that can't find a job right now, which is just crazy talk. Go on.
All right. I think we actually have enough. I think we can just start the podcast.
I think Isaiah should be a divorce lawyer.
No.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah,
I think I could be.
A clown divorce.
A clown
Yeah.
divorce. Here we go. I dress up as a clown and I go into the courtroom.
You help entertain
Yes. Precisely.
I don't think she should get anything.
I don't-
Honk, honk.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right, we're done. We're done with clowns. Make sure you text and say hi at 8772 RadioU. Enjoy the podcast today, and we hope you have a wonderful day.
Catch you next time.
Bye.
The words too expensive aren't in Nikki's vocabulary. This is The Riot. Radio U.
Getting concerned about Cincinnati because it seems that there's a drug problem in the city. And the reason I say that is because there's so many drugs in Cincinnati is that it's not just people that are taking them.
Well, what else is
It's
there?
animals.
Animals?
Do you remember the guy that had the emotional support monkey he was giving drugs to?
You remember that
I remember
passionately.
that. Yeah, it
I
was
don't think I
last year.
remember.
It was an emotional support monkey, and I don't know why it stuck in my mind that it was Cincinnati, but it was. I even looked it up again, and then now we have a report of a wild cat that was roaming the streets of Cincinnati as well, that then wound up testing positive for cocaine.
Are we talking like meow, like house cat? Are we talking
No, I said wild cat.
wild? Well, okay. Sometimes house cats can be feral.
There's a differentiation. It's a wild cat. Is I was gonna say what it actually is, which is a serval, but I feel like most people don't know what a serval is.
They first thought it could be a hybrid, coked up, a hybrid F1 Savannah cat. But then they said yes, it was a serval cat named Emery.
It's did they name it, or was that what they found out that was named when they?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they know where this came from, but different states have different rules. But
Yeah.
Ohio has strict regulations.
Rules about cats taking cocaine.
It does, believe it or not.
That seems like that would be actually pretty across the board. They shouldn't do that.
Some states, though, they're not as strict.
Yeah.
But they say that the rules are for exotic pets. There's a Dangerous Wild Animal Act, which prohibits owning, trading, selling, offering for sale a dangerous wild animal. So I don't even see the cocaine part in that, but I just don't think you're allowed to. You're not supposed to have it.
Yeah, but so maybe whoever had it set it free because they're like, I can't be caught with this. But I got to keep my cocaine.
Maybe the server was hooked on the stash and
Yeah.
wouldn't leave the stash alone, and
Well,
so then they let it out.
It's an African serval. Maybe it found its way. It's just been chasing the stash. You
Could
know
be.
what I mean? It's
Could
just
be.
been chasing, and this is where it led it all to Cincinnati. But no, I mean, this is a serious cat, though, because the reason that they even found this cat is people were calling in reports of a leopard.
Oh, they thought it was
a
that
leopard
big?
because it's like they're tall, they're skinnier than a leopard when you see them up close or pictures of them, but they're large cats. They have to survive out there with the lions and the elephants and everything. So
Sure.
you can't be too tiny there and still get away with it. So it is a significantly large cat. It's definitely not a cat that would just happen to be around
In the neighborhood.
Yeah, this is not where it lives. So it is somebody had it probably as a pet that an ill-gotten pet somehow, and then giving it drugs. It sounds like, or it got into the drugs.
Aww.
But now it has found its way to. It's in the care of the Cincinnati Zoo.
They're going to put it out there, like in its thing. It's going to have an enclosure so that they hope people will go see.
So it can deal to the other zoo animals.
The cocaine cat. It's like, I feel like they're kind of taking advantage of that part, hoping people will come to the zoo to visit it.
I guess that's better than the cat meeting its end
Of course.
prematurely. So
Of
we don't want
course.
that. But I'd say, and I disparage Cincinnati for saying it has a drug problem because 2 different animals in the last year have had 2 different kinds of drugs. But you know what? That feels like more than any other city.
Well, I'm
Most
sure
cities have
there's-
0 animals doing drugs.
No, I think there's
that we
probably
don't know about.
plenty, and there's a lot of strange animals people own that's not legal. You just don't find out about it. The issue with this cat is they're not sure because technically it's legal to have this cat in Kentucky and Indiana. So
But you're
this
right on the
cat
border.
could have very well taken a little walksy because, maybe the cocaine gives it energy.
Yeah.
And it got lost that way, made its way into Ohio where it's not allowed.
Well, good luck getting that back if that's what if you're in Indiana and you legally own this cat,
Oh, I think you just
but
let
you can't
it.
go claim it?
No.
Even
you
though
let
it's
it
probably
go.
expensive, you're probably losing out on a lot of money, but then you might get people might start to ask questions.
I think they'll ask cocaine questions.
Yeah, I think they will.
So he is safe now. The cat, the serval, he is at the Cincinnati Zoo.
While Isaiah is wishing for a girlfriend, Nikki and Hudson are just wishing for any friend at all. The Riot. Radio U.
Yeah, or before an asteroid hits Earth or anything like that.
Well, that's a bit drastic.
Well, it could happen.
Okay.
That could happen. In fact, I've got a new asteroid here that NASA just identified that they say has a small chance of hitting Earth on Valentine's Day of 2046.
Well, we'll have a few more fundraisers between the time.
We
then.
will.
So I think we're okay for this one.
We will, but still, 2046. It's during our lifetimes. I would hope, anyways. Now they say small chance, but that's different than most asteroids. Usually, when they're like it's going to make a close pass by Earth, that means it might be it's not even between the Earth and the Moon. It's not even that close usually. This one has a small chance at hitting Earth, and it would be on Valentine's Day in 2046. Would it be big enough to end life on Earth? Doesn't look like it.
Okay, well,
looks
why
like-
don't they start off with that next time?
Because then it wouldn't be as fun to talk about.
Oh, sure. A little dramatic.
A similarly sized asteroid struck Earth or blew up over Earth in 1908, and it did cause a 12 megaton explosion. It only killed possibly 3 people that we know of.
So this one, they have the new asteroid name 2023 DW.
Remember that.
I just remember that then. And so they say that it'll impact Earth on 2046.
But here's the question I wanted to ask you.
Yeah. Would we plan to do something for Valentine's Day that year? I don't know.
Watch how romantic to end life together.
Gosh.
But no, it'd be like Romeo and Juliet.
Oh.
But I'm
With
thinking
space.
every time in the movies and stuff when it's an asteroid that's going to end life on Earth, it's like you find out like a little bit before. Even Don't Look Up came out last year. That gave it like you had a while.
Yeah.
But
What would you
I think
do?
that was like a year. What if this was like 2046 and it's like, all right, that's it. 2046, it's definitely hitting Earth. Obviously, there'd be the contingent of we're trying to redirect the asteroid. We're going to try to do something to change it. But still, like 2046 to get closer and closer. How do you think people would live life?
I feel like they can't say something about it because society would just shut down. Like
You
no one
think?
would work.
We've
no
got
one
20
would do.
years?
Well, okay, maybe not 20 years, but if you had like a year.
That's what I think. What would happen is if you announced in 2046 there's an asteroid that's going to end life on Earth, there'd be a bunch of people that start off now. They'd be like, party, like nothing matters.
Sure.
And then you'd get a couple of years into that, maybe, probably not even a couple of years. You'd be like, Oh, that asteroid still hasn't hit, huh?
It's like we're not
This
there
isn't
yet.
working out for me.
I know.
Yeah, I thought it would go quicker than this.
I think more people would stop doing things than you think.
Yeah.
Even with
but
like
you
20
can't
years.
stop doing anything for too long.
I know, but that's why they don't want to tell us too soon.
Yeah. Oh, so you think there's an asteroid that is going to end life on Earth and they're hiding it from
Maybe
us.
they just won't say. Now, for this one, they're saying again, shouldn't destroy too much, but they're just letting people know that you have until then for a small chance of impact.
Yeah. It's interesting to think about. They should make a movie about that.
The thinking about part?
The asteroid that's going to hit 20 years from now part. That's a good concept.
Seems like you have a vision.
You know what?
Start writing
All
it.
I need is the funding.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.
You guys, are you familiar with Steve Ballmer?
No.
He's the owner of the Los Angeles Clippers in the NBA. He made his fortune with Microsoft. He's one of the, big guys over at Microsoft from back in the day. And the Clippers, they've shared a stadium for years now, for about 25 years, with the Los Angeles Lakers. So that's the setup for all of this, right?
Okay.
I always felt like they were the little brother because they're
How come
sharing
they
a
don't have their own stadium?
Well, now they
Convenience.
do. They're about
Convenience.
to. It saves money, But now they've been working on building a new stadium that'll be near the SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, where the Rams play and the Chargers play. State of the art. And here's what's really exciting about it. According to the owner of the Clippers, Steve Ballmer, it's going to have 3 times the toilets of the average NBA stadium.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean, this guy
Is that really his press conference?
He's really fired up.
He's excited.
He is so excited about this, and you can watch him, and he's like serious about it. It's going to have 1,160 toilets, so that he's saying no one will ever have to wait in line.
Smart.
It is. You don't want to miss a minute of the action
Now,
when you go to a Clippers game.
Are we going to have like equal half and half for
No.
bathrooms, or do more ladies
There should
restrooms?
be more ladies, I
More
think.
ladies
You think
restrooms.
more ladies?
I think there should be. Will there be? I don't know. There should be, though.
I don't know. I'm of two minds, because clearly, right, the women. If this was any other thing, it's a sports stadium.
Mm-hmm.
It needs more men's restrooms.
I don't know, because normally there's a longer line for the ladies' restroom.
That's true. That's so true.
I think in a lot of cases, but
But
when
are you
go
saying
to
more guys go to the sporting
yes,
events?
I'm sure that the Clippers aspire to have many female fans as well, but typically you go to a sporting event, and in my experience, especially if you go at like halftime or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have a long line. Now it moves pretty quick, but you're going to have a long line of dudes waiting in line, where the ladies, like, there's just not as many there. So it's not as crowded in the bathroom.
Yeah, but sometimes you just want to
Trust
break
me,
from
I've
the
been
game.
in them. So
The women to the men. Hudson.
What are you saying?
yeah, I have a lot of experience.
No, I normally just hear the stories of, the ladies who are fed up, so they just go into the guys' restroom.
Yeah,
Yes.
Because there's always just shorter lines.
I know. I mean, I know at a lot of places when it's crowded, that's the case. I just think it's sports because it's so male dominant. But maybe they're going to have WNBA games there too, probably, right? So
Okay, I think you're just walking the line where someone's going to get offended.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, too. I think we'll say there's a lot of
Women
bathrooms.
Was it the part
will
where I
only
said
go
I've
to
been
the
proud-
women's
Right
basketball
after
game.
International Women's Day.
you're right. Even women aren't going to them.
You're right. No one's going. Well, I guess we'll find out. But do we like the Clippers? Are they good? Are they just okay?
They're good, but
good.
I'm not a huge fan.
Okay.
It doesn't probably say a lot about them that, granted, this is just a part of his, pumping up the stadium. But the top story about your new stadium is not the basketball team that's going to win so many games, but the toilets.
The toilet.
Probably tells you a lot, don't you think?
Well, he found something he's passionate about along with basketball.
It fits with the Clippers' history, though. It really does.
The toilet part,
Yeah,
because they're bad.
usually.
They flush the
Until recently, yes.
the season away.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Oh, well, let's talk about Daredevil, the show that is making its way to Disney Plus in the near future. Charlie Cox, who plays Daredevil, Matt Murdock, in the show, he's already, of course, reappeared in a few of the other MCU connected movies and shows, Spider-Man.
So these are the old ones that were on Netflix.
The Netflix shows, yep.
That Disney brought back.
They're bringing Daredevil back.
Yeah. But they took the shows back from Netflix.
They did take the shows back from Netflix. So, yeah, you can go watch the old episodes on Disney Plus at the moment. And then Daredevil's the only one that they're bringing back so far from that list. Well, kind of. See, they've also announced that they're bringing The Punisher back.
Oh, everybody, I feel like, loved that one.
The Punisher was a good
was a big one.
A little controversial because it's a very brutal show, involves a lot of killing and gun violence.
He is the Punisher.
He is punishing.
I mean, I think it's built into the name.
But I enjoyed the show and very well portrayed, I think, by John Bernthal, who is going to be reprising the role.
He's back?
Of the Punisher. Now, they're not doing that as its own series, at least not at the moment, but the Punisher will be in the new Daredevil series on Disney Plus when that shows up.
Which means absolutely, if that all does well, then he'll go back and do another Punisher
for
show.
some more Punisher stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's interesting. Again, they haven't announced. They brought back a lot of the characters that are connected to Daredevil, but some of the other shows, Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and Iron Fist, and maybe there was another one, I don't know, but they haven't brought any of that other stuff back yet. But here's something else that's interesting, though. Something we like to say on the show: the hand strikes and gives a flower.
The show likes to say that, or just you?
The show.
It's
something that we've all enjoyed.
We say it. All right.
Yes. That is, of course, a line from one of the first episodes of The Office. The hand strikes and gives a flower. The flower is that John Bernthal will be the Punisher. The hand striking is that the actors who portrayed Karen and Foggy in the Daredevil series on Netflix, not back.
Not back yet, or just not coming back?
It sounds like they're not going to be back.
Well, someone else.
It's unclear if they'll be recast or if they just won't show up, which would be, based off of the source material, pretty odd for them to not come back.
I feel like it's worth going back, not for me, but if you really liked those shows, it'd be worth going back to watch like the Daredevil stuff and the Punisher stuff.
Definitely
to see
the good stuff.
How does it hold up?
Yeah, and how does it fit in? Like now that it's going to become part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it didn't fit style wise at that time, but maybe now they just kind of converge. I don't know, but
we'll see what they do.
That's what people are worried that they're not going to make Daredevil dark enough as it was on Netflix. So we'll see, but at least the Punisher will be a part of it. That's probably a good sign.
Your For You page would be a lot more fun if it had Hudson, Nikki, and Isaiah. Follow at RadioU Official on TikTok. The Riot. Radio U.
Can money buy happiness?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Thank you. We've all heard people say money can't buy happiness, but I have some studies here that might say otherwise. Well, okay, I've got two studies here that kind of contradict each other.
Shocker.
I've got a study from Princeton that found that happiness steadily increased along with income until you hit $75,000.
And then at that point, yeah.
And that's where it cuts off, where it levels off, basically. Once you make $75,000 a year, granted, that was 2010, way back in 2010. I wonder if that would have been higher had they done it this day and age. But then there was another study in 2021 from the University of Pennsylvania that found that happiness continued rising with no plateau in sight, no matter how much money you made.
I knew I liked University of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
They seem smarter there, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
But since those two studies kind of, even though they were like years apart, they contradict each other a little bit. So what they just did recently was they had the people from those studies, like Princeton and University of Pennsylvania, work together with a mediator to try to figure out their data to make some sense of it.
With a mediator?
Yeah, they had like
a
strategist, or not a strategist, but like a data, like a study mediator. I don't know how studies
and in
work.
between.
But they had an other outside party to get involved so that they could make all this make sense.
Yeah.
And so basically the conclusion from all this that they've landed on, see if this sounds like it makes sense to you, is that for most people, that two things can be true. For most people, the more money you make, the happier you are. But there's some people and they call it like an unhappy minority that are going to be upset. No, like they're not going to be happy no matter how much they make.
I don't think
And
that's us.
No. Well, I'd like to test it out.
You want to find out?
I would like to test it out, but
I don't think we want to be like, it'd be nice. I assume that it must be really hard to be like a bajillionaire, like just super, super wealthy. There must be a lot of stuff that goes with it. I just want to be comfortably wealthy, but not enough to where I'm stressed.
I'd like to be able to eat out.
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to have fast food.
Comfortably wealthy?
Just a middle of the road guy.
Yeah.
If I could just be
Is that
average.
too much to ask?
Sounds like that'd be great.
Yeah.
Like, to where you can eat out and have fun and not worry about a budget, but
Yeah.
then you don't have to have a staff for like your giant house.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is what when I think about being like making more money, what I think about is not a bigger house. It's not a bunch of possessions. It is just going to Applebee's.
eat out?
I don't know why I said Applebee's
You
because
just
I
want
probably wouldn't
wings,
go there,
don't
but
you?
I just want to go to any restaurant and not be like, oh, well, I shouldn't order that because that would be too expensive. I just want to go to a restaurant and eat what I want and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, that sounds like a
That's wealth
perfectly
to me.
wealthy level.
Maybe that's about $75,000 a year. And
think-
that's why it levels off after that.
I think this study was expecting people to want more than that. You're like, no, I just basically want that.
Yeah, but I mean, I also want to know, how do I get a part of the study where they just keep giving me more money and I keep telling them if I'm happy or not?
No, they must have found people that already had money at those levels and then put them in the study. They're not giving that money out.
No, they
They should.
said that they like gave everybody an app.
An app?
And every day you pretty much tracked your happiness. It's what it did.
That'd be a lot of pressure.
It would. How happy am I today?
Yeah.
I'm
You
pretty
feel like
tired.
if
Wait.
you're making more money or
Let
less.
me go to my bank app first
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
I'll go back over.
If I had that app, I would feel pressure to answer, I'm very unhappy with having a low amount. Like until my income rose, I'd be like, still unhappy.
Still unhappy. Let me get more.
I'm doing this for everyone
They
that's
say
making this amount of money.
that money isn't everything for your emotional well-being.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of other moving parts to life, so money is just one of the many determinants of happiness. It's not the secret to happiness, but it can help a bit. So I think that's true.
I guess what sucks is, like, again, how they laid this all out is, it sounds like if you're making over $75,000 and you're still unhappy,
Then
there's no amount of money that will make you happy.
You have no excuse.
And 75,000 isn't even really that much.
You
so.
might be one of the just naturally unhappy people, or you're not out eating out enough.
Yeah,
That's
maybe you
right.
need to do more with your money.
Go to Applebee's.
Why are you picking that
I don't
one?
know.
Yeah,
It's a good
anywhere else.
choice. Good choice.
You're not going to Applebee's.
No matter how much money I make.
Hey, they're already eating anyways. Might as well do it on the show. The Riot with Nikki and Hudson. Radio U.
Got another new food item for you. If you can't get those Girl Scout cookies because they're too hard to find or out of your price range, I've got something else for you that might be the fix you need.
Yeah.
You ready for new Doritos beef jerky?
Yes.
Yeah.
Finally, something I can have.
Now we're talking, right? How do you feel? You have a favorite? You eat a lot of jerky?
I go through phases. I do like it on road trips because,
Yeah.
again, if you're not having like chips and stuff, then there's not a lot of other options for
Yeah.
you. And I don't like pork rinds as much.
That's
But
right.
A nice thing of beef jerky will do.
Yeah. It's, you didn't want to talk about food that's overpriced.
Beef jerky?
Beef jerky.
Yeah, it's expensive.
I mean, it's good. You give me a good jerky and I'm going to be real happy, but it comes at a cost. It definitely does. So do you have a brand though that you normally go with?
Honestly, it's whatever. And sometimes I prefer the jerky sticks compared to like the longer, thinner pieces of beef jerky. But
Yeah.
it's more about the flavor.
Well, I'll let you know that Doritos, for their beef jerky collab, they are teaming up with Jack Link's.
That's a premium one.
That's a big one, and so you will be able to find here coming soon Jack Link's Doritos flavored beef jerky. They've got a couple options for you. Spicy sweet chili.
That's my favorite Dorito flavor.
Yeah, that is the best Dorito flavor.
I wonder how that works with the beef jerky.
I think it almost sounds like it'd be like teriyaki in a way, you know? Maybe, I don't know, but I'm probably way off on that. But it feels like it goes with beef jerky.
Sure.
It makes sense. And then also just Doritos flamin' hot flavor.
Listen, I appreciate finally we could do a food fight where we can have as much as we want.
Yeah,
we can
that's
have
right.
all the beef jerky.
We'll get our beef jerky fix, and you don't have to withhold yourself. You don't have to hold back at all.
Too much sugar.
Yeah.
They said that they announced this last year with a Jack Link's and a Doritos partnership. And so this is the first of those 2 new flavors. They're not sure if they'll do others beyond this point,
hopefully.
but it is a partnership.
They need to team up with more chips as well. How about Cheetos jerky?
Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
Can't.
Funyuns jerky.
No, I don't like Funyuns.
Yes, Funyuns jerky. Oh, man, I had Funyuns the other day.
Now, okay, what if...
That's another thing that'll just make me so happy.
I wish you could have the jerky and then, like, what if it was rolled in Ruffles or something? Just like
Coated?
a light dusting of it.
Yeah. Or cheddar sour cream.
Oh, my gosh.
You think that would work on jerky?
Well, feel free to send in your beef jerky recommendations
Yeah.
if there's one that you like. But this
Jack
we'll look
Link's will
for.
take 'em.
We'll take these.
Yeah, we'll be on the lookout for these because that does sound mighty tasty. Perfect for a road trip. You're right. It's
To
the Riot.
work and a snack after the show.
Yeah.
The Riot with Hudson and Nikki on Radio U.
But an interesting thought brought up by none other than Jamie Lee Curtis. Mm-hmm. She's been doing all the awards circuit lately because she's in Everything Everywhere All at Once. She's up for Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars this weekend. And at her recent appearance on the red carpet at the Independent Spirit Awards, here's an idea she came up with. Matinee concerts.
Oh, really?
Concerts that start noon. That feels a little early. 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
She says
An early dinner one.
yeah, like just before the sun goes down, let's get rolling with the concert, and then it can be done and over with in time for. In her case, she's 64. She wants to go home and go to
She
bed.
said she wants to be bed earlier.
Yeah, so I think there's first off the rip, what do you guys think? If there was someone you cared about coming to town, would you, if it started at 2 o'clock, would you be more, less, or the same excited?
Well, I think it depends on the person performing.
Okay.
And like you can't do that on a Friday because then you'd have to leave work early or
Jamie,
something.
people have to work.
Yeah.
I know you don't have to work, Jamie, but other people have to work.
Yeah. No, but you can do it on the weekends, though. That's usually when you go to a concert anyways, right?
And I think it also depends too on the location because I know for some shows, like if it's a super, super big one, it takes forever to be able to find like parking. Then you get in the show and then everybody leaves. That takes like an hour or so. And then if you want to ride home or if you have to find some sort of transportation, that's another hour or so. So it
Yeah.
can be a really late night.
It can get to be a late night. Isaiah, you probably go to more concerts, I feel. So what would you... Okay, fine. Yes, your weekend or your weekday point. Well taken.
So say it's a Saturday.
Yeah, it's
Saturday.
a Saturday.
And it's 2
prime
o'clock.
concert day.
2 o'clock.
Yeah, you have whatever artist you're concerned about. 2 o'clock start time.
Yeah, there's
What are you
pluses and
thinking?
minuses to it. I think, obviously, if it starts at 2 o'clock, there's probably not going to be anybody who comes on before either then. Because usually if you have a concert, there's a couple people that go on before the actual, main act.
Yeah.
And so if you're starting at 2 o'clock, you assume...
No, the openers start at like noon.
Yeah, the openers are they start at 9 a.m. Like, what time am I supposed to be there? And so if there's no openers, then it just depends on the day, I guess. If it's cold outside, 2 o'clock, I don't know. It's just there's so many things that go into it. I think there's pluses and minuses. I don't mind it being later, but I'm also young, and on a Saturday night, I'm okay with staying up a little bit later. If you want to go to bed early on a Saturday, then you just need to do something different, I guess. I don't know.
She was saying, Jamie Lee Curtis was saying, because mommy goes to bed early.
Yeah, again, she's 64. That makes sense.
But that's not that old. That's not even that old.
She was just saying, okay, fine, say that it's 7:30, but then it's going to be 9 because you get food, you go, and then you go see someone, and it's just, so late by the time you actually get to a concert.
But it's also you're going to a concert, so it's a special day. You don't go to a concert every Saturday. If you're going to a concert, there's a special night for you. I think it's okay for every now and then to stay up a little bit later, Jamie. It's okay.
Yeah, but I mean, even to be fair, there's people that I know that don't get up as early as we do that still have early bed. And I'm talking like adults. I'm not talking little baby children. I'm talking about grown adults that are like, sorry, 9 o'clock is my bedtime.
They
And
don't want to?
You know what? I kind of envy them for that, for just saying that. But
her example was, think about the theater, which she's now really not the
Yeah.
same as us. But she said in the theater, they have like a 2 o'clock showing. So they have like different times. Maybe they would do 2 performances.
that's a good point.
An
I didn't
early
even think about
and a
that.
later.
That's right. And when you think about some of the, again, this is skewing older, but when you think about some of the artists she's talking about, especially for your parents, like she mentioned Bruce Springsteen, he's getting old too. Wouldn't he want to be in bed?
No, he is old.
He is. He's old. He's old. He's probably older than Jamie Lee Curtis. So all the people that would go see him are also old. Why wouldn't he do the show earlier? Everybody can get to bed earlier. And here is another great, this is why I'm totally in favor of this. I'm not saying no artists do night shows.
Yeah.
But why I think a 2 o'clock concert would be great is, like if you're going to a concert, you're right, it's a special day. So there's this whole lead up to the concert. You clear the rest of your schedule, but then you kind of have nothing else going on unless you're hanging out with like people you're going to the concert with. But you know what you could also do?
What?
Is hang out with those people after the concert. If it ends at 5 o'clock,
Oh, and still do
then you
something?
could just have a whole night of fun, and you already had a day of fun instead of kind of just sitting around waiting for the concert to happen.
Or you're so tired,
You mean
you're
sitting
done.
around at the pregame, Hudson? You never had done a pregame for a concert?
right.
That's what you pre-party before. And I think the other reason that things start later is so that more people can make it to them.
Yeah.
And so if you're starting at 2 o'clock, you're
They
kind of
can't.
exiting some of your audience that maybe are coming from a farther distance. Maybe they're coming from farther away. Maybe they have plans during the day. Evening time is supposed to be the fun time, so people usually keep that more clear during Saturdays and any day.
It's a special day.
It
You
is.
why not make it so you could enjoy the whole day?
We know Truslow. How about we ask them if they want to do a 9 a.m.
Yeah.
show?
Yeah, start it up in the morning.
I just think it should be. It never happens, and it should happen sometimes.
We need a breakfast concert.
I'm with you, Jamie.
Hudson and Isaiah seem like they know a lot about sports, yet somehow it's Nikki that always gets it right. The Riot, Radio U.
Story is wild. It involves, some people will keep alligators as pets.
Yeah, I don't know why, but they do.
Yeah, you keep them in the bathtub or something like that.
I mean, where can the little alligator go? Like, you take him out for a walk, or
Maybe it's just maybe it's the thinking of like if you have the alligator as a pet, it can be like protection for you against other alligators.
as long?
Like if you're
like if you're in
out
Florida.
walking your alligator,
oh,
then
like the other alligator says, "Oh, he's already taken."
yeah, that's right. It'll scare the other ones away from you. So I don't know if that's safer or not.
Well,
but-
I've seen a couple stories of like a few people who have emotional support alligators. It's a tough sell there.
Yeah, that seems dangerous. But we've got a woman here in Texas that has been keeping an alligator as her pet for more than 20 years. But it was just recently taken away from her after it was like the Parks and Wildlife officials realized
Oh, that she had
that
one.
she had it. So she kept it under wraps this whole time. That must be difficult too, right? To
It's an 8-foot alligator, so it's not like it's a little baby one.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, it's 20 years old at least. So I didn't know how long alligators live, but apparently they live pretty long lives.
It was in her backyard.
Yeah,
he
but-
was just out back.
I guess alligators, it's not like the chickens that are in my backyard, in my neighbor's backyard, that are real loud. Like you could easily not notice an alligator, like your neighbor's having an alligator, I guess. Clearly, because this woman had an alligator for 20 years. But she says, according to the reports, that she got this alligator by stealing an egg from a zoo.
She stole a alligator egg,
Supposedly she stole the egg.
and then it just grew.
Yeah, and raised it, and
she's
for
his
its whole 20
mommy.
years. Yeah, so now this alligator has been rehomed, and all it's ever known was this woman's backyard, I guess.
Aw, well, the problem is she did not have the correct permits to care for an alligator. I don't know if they
That's
were.
one of the problems.
I don't even know if they were like going after because she stole the egg.
Yeah,
because I mean that's 20 years
ago.
old.
Yeah, and it says that it says here that female alligators will lay between 30 and 70 eggs. So there's plenty of eggs to go around. Easy to miss one too.
And they said the alligator was nice when they removed it, but you're just not allowed to have it in residential areas without a permit because it's an alligator.
When you hear it like that, though, that the alligator was nice.
Yeah, I know.
It does make it a little tempting, doesn't it?
Maybe she could have moved and like taken the alligator with her and had proper permits, but they took it.
Or just gone somewhere far out of the way where no one would be peering in on on your business.
But you can't just take this alligator and put it back in the wild because it's a comfortable alligator. It's
I guess it wouldn't.
Used to a house.
It
and
would
stuff.
never make it. That's the real thing. But you know what? It seems dangerous, but it's just one of those things. If the alligator thinks it's mommy, it's not going to attack you, right?
If you feed it, they say, then you could be okay. But you're not allowed to have an alligator except for commercial farming. They're the things being farmed. And education.
For jerky and stuff like that?
Yeah, for the nice new purse that you have. For educational and research purposes, but you're not allowed to have it as pets. Oh, they said that she took it a little bit tough. But she does still have to follow all the rules and the regulations of the state.
She's had it for 20 years. It's her friend.
Aww.
It's her a crocodile, alligator daughter or son, whatever it is. I got to start working on getting a permit. I'm starting to think an alligator wouldn't be so bad to have around.
You need to have one for education purposes. So if you brought the alligator in and we had it on air, and you gave us a fact a day about alligators, you'd be fine.
Does it count if I'm making stuff up?
No, I mean, you're educating. Wrongly educating.
Yeah, as long as I just start saying facts. Alligators. I already gave you 30, 70 eggs a day.
Thanks.
That's educational.
Yeah, you can have one now.
And that's true. I didn't make that part up.
Yeah, just don't let it kill anything. So that would be bad.
I'm going to work on that.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The Worst of the Riot. Radio U.
Creed 3 came out last weekend to very positive reviews. It made a bunch of money at the box office. And interestingly enough, it's inspired a lot of people, maybe in all the wrong ways, in Europe.
I saw they had a big, huge fight at like some sort of movie theater in Paris.
And that's not the only one.
They've been having others?
This is what's crazy.
Are you just so like... what's the word? Inspired
by the movie.
By the fighting?
It really gets you riled up. It's very unclear why these are happening. But since Creed 3 has been released in Europe, there has now been at least 12 separate incidents in France, along with 3 separate incidents in Germany at different theaters.
That's so weird.
Where fights and even full-on like brawls have broken out at showings of Creed 3, and it's gotten big enough to where some movie theaters are obviously they're stopping the screenings at the theaters when the brawls break out.
Yeah.
But some theaters are just pulling the movie altogether because they don't want to have one of these incidents break out at their theater.
It must be some sort of setup. Like people are just setting up, okay, we're going here, going to do a fight or something, because that just doesn't break out on its own.
It is very odd. So the authorities in, I think it was Germany, they are very confused about like what is causing these to happen. And so they've been wondering whether it was, because again, it's always Creed 3. And it's happened in Germany at least 3 times, probably about 15 times total, it looks like, across Europe. And so they are wondering, is it a viral marketing campaign?
Oh, please don't tell me that's what we're doing.
Paying people to start fights at Creed 3? Or is it a social media thing? Kind of like, remember Gentle Minions?
Oh, yes!
Yeah, is it like that?
Now that I could totally see. This is just way more physical.
They've just found no evidence for anything like that. So, but then the other possibility is, are people just getting so into the movie that they're getting into arguments or something that's causing them to fight? They're like,
I don't know.
I think Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan would be in the same weight class. You're ridiculous. You don't know anything about boxing. They're way different sizes. This fight would never take place. I don't know what they're getting into fights about.
It feels though like because they've had so many, it has to be organized just for some way, some reason.
I don't know. I think.
But if you're Creed 3, you're not happy because you're missing out since they're pulling the movie from a lot of
because they're pulling the movie.
Europe.
But it makes me want to go see it more because what if it is like cinema?
You're not going to have that here. We're not having fights here.
Why not?
It's only just in Europe.
It could happen here.
You going to start one?
Maybe.
good old-fashioned
We'll
brawl?
see. I'll go to the movie and see if I feel inspired by it.
Have you ever been to a movie where things got bad, like whether the stuff didn't work at the theater and like you had to go and get a refund or leave? Like that's annoying.
No.
You don't want to.
I haven't had that.
And if you're the one causing
But I'd be
it,
happy to cause it. Yeah, I'd be happy to be the one at the center of attention.
man, it's the worst. You're like, okay, I guess we'll do this another time.
Yeah, you know you're never coming back to finish that.
I know
half
you'll
of the
never
movie.
see the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. It's if it is just purely because of the movie, I'm impressed. If it's a viral marketing campaign,
Also
I'm also
impressed.
And if people are just going because they feel like they can get away with it or something, I don't know I don't understand that, but I guess not impressed by that.
So this is only in Europe so far, but Creed 3 so far here in the U.S. has been fine.
Well,
Let's keep it that
it
way.
only takes one.
It takes one bad Hudson in the whole
Yeah.
bunch.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
The end of an era yesterday in college basketball. Nikki, I don't know if you're familiar with this guy, Jim Boeheim.
I thought I mentioned, or I've heard you mention him before, but I don't know much
Maybe.
about him.
I know college basketball is not what it used to be. Like, you get the tournament that comes around, but like for most of the season, people don't pay attention. So it's not as big. Like, we don't talk about it too much.
Sure.
But it's kind of more of a niche thing. But Jim Boeheim, he is the longtime coach of Syracuse basketball, had a lot of success there, won a national championship several years back.
Only one?
Only one.
Only
in
one.
47 years, but that's one more than a lot of coaches have. And
Jim's probably like, come on.
I know.
I just retired.
I just think it's impressive for 47 seasons. He goes without being fired.
Wow.
That
Yeah,
just doesn't
actually,
happen
that is
anymore.
true.
Especially when you only win one championship. But no, he had a pretty successful run at Syracuse for a long time. It hasn't been as good lately. But yeah, Isaiah's right. Yesterday, he kind of unceremoniously announced that they lost their game to Wake Forest in the ACC tournament. And so he said that would be his last.
Oh, he just quit right then? There?
That's his retirement right there.
That's hard because sometimes that's why it's better if you leave on a high note, like you decide instead of waiting till you've been there so long and you get one bad game and you're just fed up.
It is odd. What do you guys think? He is kind of close, in a way, closely tied. He's one of the top on the all-time wins list for coaching in college basketball, up there with like Coach K, who retired last year, Mike Krzyzewski. And last year, Mike Krzyzewski, we knew going into the season, he announced it was a farewell tour. And so every place was giving him like plaques and stuff before games when he would play.
Yeah, this seems sad.
Yeah, where Jim Boeheim just kind of, you knew it had to be coming soon. He's getting real old. But he just, after a disappointing season and a loss, he's just like, yeah, that was it for me.
So is Syracuse done? Like,
Oh, yeah.
They're done.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they barely were over 500. I don't know if they'd get invited to one of the like lesser tournaments because there are so many, but
Man, they don't
I don't
need
even
the
know if
coach
they
for that.
I don't know
No.
if they'd even want to go. You know what I mean? So
They say throughout NCAA basketball history, no coach has ever been with their alma mater longer than he has.
47. Think about this. 47 years sounds impressive. I feel like it sounds more impressive when you think that he started coaching in 1976.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
A long time.
Which means he was a truly amazing coach or like the worst and no one ever said anything and he just made it that long.
He did kill a man.
No, he didn't.
No, he did. Actually, he did, but he was cleared of wrongdoing. It was some guy was on the side of the road, and so he
You don't
hit
just
him
throw
with his
that out
car.
there.
Yeah, what a wild statement.
It's true. He killed a guy.
Why would you bring that up during his retirement? I mean, it doesn't bother me, though, because I hate Jim Boeheim.
Why do you hate him so much?
Because he's the biggest grump of all time. He's like the
But
one.
he's old.
But I'm saying in press conferences, like his whole career,
Yeah.
if you type in Jim Boeheim in press conferences, it's going to be a myriad of him acting like a child. He
Did
is a
he-
great coach, but he was terrible in press
Did
conferences.
he also pick his nose a lot, it looks like?
Yes.
Yes,
At least a
okay.
couple times. At least it
Boy.
looked like that.
But he was very innovative. He's like one of the only coaches ever who ran like one defense the whole time, which was the zone defense. Fantastic defense.
People
He was
hate that defense.
He was a great coach, but in interviews, Terrible person.
Worst guy. Well, I like
worst
someone's
guy.
comments. Sad that we won't be able to see anybody picking their nose on national
Yeah.
TV anymore. The game will never be the same.
Yeah.
Well, he's one of my big influences. So
Well, he killed a guy, so
Again,
nice.
I hope
Don't-
to.
Maybe I would have left that
I
out.
hope to be as grumpy and pick my nose as much as he does.
So 47 years?
47 years.
Wow.
45 happy years. I'll let you do the math.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Now, Nikki, are you afraid of clowns?
No, but I don't understand it.
You don't understand
No, and
clowning?
Yeah, because like there was a big, I think it was like a documentary a long time ago, and it was just like, hey, people wanted to be clowns. Like that was an art, that was an
Yeah.
entertainment field.
Uh-huh.
And like for us, we chose radio.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to fault anybody for
Yeah.
like going into
Because
it.
clowns are probably afraid of us.
The field of clowns,
Yeah.
but how it's an art that has been dying away.
It's definitely different now to be a clown.
So it's not like I'm scared of
Because-
it. I just couldn't understand why someone would want to become a clown.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's a good point, though, if you think about it. Because nowadays, if you're becoming a clown, you're going to do what? Either Cirque du Soleil
Or parties.
or kids'
Yeah.
birthday parties.
That'd probably be it.
But back in the day, wouldn't say it would be a prestigious role, but you could be a clown in like a theater or something. Like you'd be like a stand-up comedian, basically.
Now it feels like you can only be a
So-
scary clown to get traction or to
Right.
be successful.
Now you're making me think that if I was alive in a different time, I
Would you
might have
have
been
been
a
a clown?
clown. I might have
Probably.
been. I could have been. But-
Radio's not far off from it.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, I'm not scared of clowns generally. Like if I went to a kid's birthday party and there was a clown there, I wouldn't be like, oh no. But scary clowns scare me.
Yeah.
Like if you make a scary clown in a scary movie, that's a scary thing.
You don't want to go see
yeah,
that?
I don't want to see that. Like the Terrifier movies that were going around or whatever. So I'm not into that. But why are some people so afraid of clowns, just any clown in general? I have a new study on that. First of all, it asked people about different fears. And in this study, they found, based off of people's self-reporting, that more people are extremely afraid of clowns than any of the other options they listed.
Really?
Yeah. So like heights, blood, injections, injuries, like claustrophobia,
Yeah.
flying, all of that.
Clowns is the
are a
worst?
bigger fear. More people are extremely afraid of clowns than any of those other things. And so then they were trying to, like, they asked the people a bunch of questions in this study to try to figure out why. And they have 8 possible explanations. Number 1 is that you just get an eerie or unsettling feeling because of the makeup that a clown wears that hides what their actual emotions might be, even
Yeah.
though a lot of times it's supposed to accentuate their emotions. But
Like, you never know what they really look like.
right, yeah. So they say think of like the same reason people get people find dolls or mannequins creepy, which is why a clown mannequin is the creepiest thing that you could possibly imagine. They also say, this is again the opposite, I guess, the exaggerated facial features convey a direct sense of threat.
Sure.
The makeup hides their emotional signals and creates uncertainty. The color of their makeup reminds people of death,
That's a bit
infection,
strong.
or blood injury.
Yeah, it evokes disgust or avoidance.
Yeah. This is a good one. Their unpredictable behavior makes us uncomfortable. It's
Yeah.
true. You never know if a clown is going to make a balloon animal or stab you with an axe.
Well, there's left and right
you
there.
don't know. They are very unpredictable. It's learned from family members. Negative portrayals of clowns in popular culture.
See, I think that's probably because if
At this point, yeah.
At this point, that's all we get for clowns.
If you see a scary clown, like if you only ever saw Ronald McDonald, you probably wouldn't be scared of clowns. But once you start seeing the clowns that are on like American Horror Story or Pennywise or whatever, then
I don't know. There's an old McDonald's near me where, well, the McDonald's is new, but they never changed out the statue thing.
they still have Ronald with his
And
leg
it's Ronald
crossed
with
on
like
the bench.
the other characters they used to have.
Grimace.
And it's so old and like it is.
So you're scared of
It
Ronald
is
McDonald.
disturbing looking.
Oh, okay.
Because you're like, is that really what
Unsettling.
they had back
Which,
then?
You know what that is?
What?
that's a clown mannequin.
Oh,
That's
there
why
it
it's so
is.
scary.
It's more disturbing.
And then finally, a frightening experience with clowns, which, unsurprisingly, the lowest on the list because nobody actually ever gets attacked by a clown normally. But because you see it portrayed other places,
You're the most scared.
That's why you're scared of it. So I mean, it's really a combo of all of those things. But I think clowns want you to remember it's not because we've hurt you. That's what the clowns are saying.
That's what they're trying to tell you. With a honk honk in their nose.
Right. See, how could something like this hurt?
They're not scary at all.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow at RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
Get ready for this, Nikki. Weight Watchers,
Yep.
they're making it cool.
What are they doing?
They're making it cool again.
Oh, this is what they bought.
Branching out to a younger audience, in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Weight Watchers is going to be here in the near future able to prescribe people the controversial but ever popular weight loss / diabetes drugs like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, those kinds of things.
You sound so doctorish right now.
Yeah, I do. I sound like a prescription drug ad. But side effects may include Ozempic face. But they have purchased a company, Weight Watchers has.
It's a fantastic business.
It's a great idea, isn't
It's
it?
an amazing idea. I'm surprised, but they're doing it.
They went ahead and purchased a company called Sequence. Sequence specializes in telehealth and medical subscription services. Now I'm starting to feel like I'm giving a stock pitch. This is why you should get some Weight Watchers stock. But Sequence, they do telehealth and medical subscription services. So basically the idea is because this is a telehealth company, they're going to give you access to doctors and dietitians and fitness coaches. And those doctors will be able to prescribe you these drugs, these weight loss drugs.
Through Weight Watchers, if you're a member.
So you don't even have to go through the old typical going to a doctor or doing telehealth with
your own one.
It just feels different if you do it through a Weight Watchers thing. So I guess the idea is that, these drugs, again, we've talked about this before, they are predicting that because they're all getting approved, some of these drugs are going to be so popular, they're going to be the most prescribed drugs in the United States because so many people are going to want them.
This sort of weight loss approach will be built into the new Weight Watchers sort of style, which is interesting because, Weight Watchers only wins if you still have weight to lose. But you would pay, you'd be paying their monthly fee to have access to their doctors who would readily prescribe this for you more than, say, if you went to your doctor.
Possibly.
Or who has doctors.
Right.
You know, if you don't have anyone, then they see that to be the trade-off because in order to still receive the prescription, I bet you have to still remain a member of the community. So it's really an interesting approach to it.
It is. It seems like a wise move on Weight Watchers' part. And it just, to me, it also, Weight Watchers also always feels like a thing your parents would do. Not that my parents, as far as I know, never did Weight Watchers, but it just feels like you wouldn't hear about your 20-year-old friend that's in average shape and they're like, hey, I'm doing Weight Watchers.
No, I think they're trying to go as young as possible.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. So now, but also it'd also be odd too if your parents are doing Weight Watchers and they're like, yeah, I'm taking weight loss drugs now. And you're like, you're not even that out of shape. And they'd be like, yeah, but
everybody
Ozempic.
wants to try it.
Yeah, everybody can take it.
So it's a $132 million deal. So they're going to be doing that. So then again, you would have a fitness coach and then a doctor, and it would all be through their company that you could talk to.
Ozempic. They're everywhere, man.
Hudson, Nikki, The Riot on Radio U.
Quick poll. Who wants to go home, everybody? Yay.
I'm ready.
Every day.
And I know for some, depending on your work schedule, I'm not even there yet. I'm sure you still want to go home.
Or I am at home and it's not all it's cracked up to be, actually.
That is true.
I've got another instance of you be the judge on the show. Now, granted, this case has already been decided in the court, but I still want to hear what you guys think. We have a man in Spain who has, it's been judged for him that he is going to have to pay about 200,000 euros to his ex-wife.
Okay.
which I believe euros are pretty equal to dollars. So
It's
he's
about
going to have to pay
$215,000.
$215,000. The reason is that he's paying her back for 25 years worth of unpaid domestic work done in the home.
Oh, because she was like a stay-at-home mom or a wife?
Yeah, took care of they had 2 daughters, and she stayed at home and, did a lot of the typical cooking, cleaning, all that stuff that you might expect, and maybe she even went above and beyond. And so now that they've split up, the judge has ordered that he's going to have to pay her out for all of that work she did.
Well, good.
It's because of a separation of assets that they had signed when they got married.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tied to like basically, how you would sign a prenup or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's some legal documents going back to when they got married, and now it's coming back to bite the husband all these years later.
Even though I feel like if you're talking like 25 years, $215,000 might not feel like enough if you're based on like if you had a salary or something.
Yeah, that's true. She could have done, if she had spent all that time working, you would hope 25 years she would make
way more than that.
Yeah, more than that. But she was dedicated to taking care of their kids and whatever. And so now she's finally reaping the benefits of all that.
Good.
Yeah.
In case you can't tell which side I would be on.
Yeah, right.
Clearly.
Nikki's like, a divorce doesn't sound so bad.
It sounds like such a great idea. She kept her house clean and everything.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, I think it's because, especially since they did sign the separation of assets.
Yeah,
which
it makes sense.
Not everybody does, but that meant that, his stuff stayed his, hers stayed hers, compared to like if you're together with someone, your stuff kind of merges together. So like you're all paying for everything you were spending in that 25 years. They weren't. And so it was almost like, he did have to end up paying her since they're not together.
I wonder,
like a job.
I wonder, like maybe back when they got married and they signed this thing, the husband was probably thinking like, but how much is the judge really going to make me pay her? You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
How much work could she possibly do type thing? He might have had a bad attitude about it.
But the thing is, he has a lot more money. So they say that it's still better for him because he, again, made all that money during that time.
So it was like a negotiation type thing.
It's almost like she still did not make out as well as she should have.
I mean, $200,000 though, all at once.
Yeah.
If that's how
For
it
being
works.
a stay-at-home mom?
That sounds pretty. I mean, I know you can never pay a stay-at-home mom enough, and I'm sure that is true.
Your mom
But
says thank you for saying
still,
that.
$200,000. That is a lot of money.
That sounds pretty great.
Yeah.
We
Like
just
a
talked about wanting to
lottery?
stay at home, didn't we? That sounds pretty great.
Is it like a lottery, though, to where you have to pay taxes off of it or something?
Oh, probably.
I mean, as long as you got the whole amount.
Yeah, I do wonder how that works, and maybe different in Spain. But $200,000. This is going to start giving some people ideas.
Of divorcing?
Of what?
Or what?
Exactly.
Being a stay-at-home mom?
Stay-at-home mom.
I'll stay at home as a dad if they pay me $200,000.
Yeah.
We have told you have a dog that doesn't count.
Yeah, I know. I feel like it should count, though. It feels like I'm doing more work, actually.
I want you to take that to a judge.
Yeah.
You're not
Well-
even married, and you just have a dog.
I'd like to be paid a lump sum for all the work that I've done.
So you're going to the Spanish court. You're like, what do I need to do
Who
to
are
get
you
that
even going
money?
to
Yes.
sue for that?
I don't know. Whoever sold me my dog.
That
That's
would be
who I'm
perfect.
So like
Doing-
Jim's going to grow up and like get a job after he gets an education or
Hopefully.
something.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, $200,000 to stay after years of stay-at-home work. It finally pays off for this mom. So good for her.
And she got that because she decided to sue for the compensation. So it
so
wasn't even like they were offering.
Yeah, that's right. She's like, here's $200,000 for your trouble on our way out the door.
I don't know if I'd like the guy in
Yeah.
this.
You just heard the worst of the worst. We'd give you the best of the best, but we'd have to find that. As soon as we do, you'll be the first to know.